What's going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the top 10 best video game 1/4 scale statues. So we're not going to look at busts and any other scale, just 1/4 scale best video game statues. So I own, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. And I guess technically Mortal Kombat is video game. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37 video game statues. I've also owned many over the years that I've sold. I sold a lot of Mortal Kombat, almost the entire classic line outside of the main bosses. I sold the majority of MK9, but Baraka. And I've sold a lot of first four figures and gaming head statues over the years. You know, they're definitely, for me, just the quality, the size, like they're all underscaled and the quality's just not there. So, they were, it's very easy to sell those off just because they didn't scale with like the prime ones, the concepts, the sizes, the details just not there. Now the price is pretty decent. Obviously it's like usually half the cost of a prime one, but prime one's so much better that, I'd much rather have that. I only own one Sideshow. That's the Master Chief over there. And technically, I still have two first four figures, Ganondorf and Princess Zelda, and a few customs. So we have Kratos custom, the Gears of War custom, which is right there, the Marcus, Link, and these two are customs. And technically, Motaro is a custom. But, so here's the thing with some of the video game statues. Some of them are like meant to be as dioramas, of course. Technically those, this. They're all, part of a line. Like those literally connect the bases together. So it's kind of hard to just like say what's the best, video game statue per se. It's almost like what's the best pair. But if we're just basing off one single character, like let's just say I could only do Leon or only do Claire, or just Kratos, or just Baldur, just Nemesis, so forth. We're going to have to do it that way. And then at the end, I'll talk about which one is the best pairs, like companion pieces and so forth. So let's get to it. Number 10. Alrighty, so number 10 on my list is going to be Jill Valentine. So this is just Jill and the zombie dog. We're not including Nemesis. Jill is a perfect sculpt, perfect detail. You have a half zombie here, which is just incredibly cool with the guts coming out and a zombie dog. It's a fantastic standalone piece because there technically is already two enemies attacking her. So you could, buy her without Nemesis, and this would be an absolute fantastic standalone piece because she looks absolutely amazing. She comes with a swap out portrait, perfect likeness, amazing detail. She's hot, absolutely amazing statue. Number 10, Prem 1 Jill Valentine. Number 9 is going to be Geralt of Rivia, the 1/4 scale. He's my favorite amongst this Witcher line. I really like his pose and the base with that giant, creature on there, I don't know the creature's name, but that's just incredibly cool. Giant creature's name with tons of arrows, blood, sword marks. Its head's been chopped off. Geralt looks amazing. He has that little dagger with all that blood, real metal sword. Fantastic 1/4. So number 9, Geralt of Rivia. Number 8 is actually going to be Dante. He's my favorite, of course, of the Devil May Cry. He has the best swap outs, perfect likeness, huge, amazing base. And I've been displaying him with this massive sword, but he comes with a plethora of swords and guns. Extremely cool. Number 8, Dante. Number 7 is going to be Weta's Laura. So this is the classic Laura, but it's a little modernized, like it kind of looks like today's Laura, just in a classic outfit. So technically she did have this outfit in the first game as a DLC, although she never did fight Velociraptors in any of the first 3 games. Only in their OG game did she actually fight them. But the Velociraptors are basically the size of the Prime 1/16 Velociraptors. Even though this is a 1/4 scale statue, I kind of feel like the scaling's probably more 1/5 because Laura is a little bit small. Like compare her head size to Nathan. She does feel a little small, and Weta kind of has been known to do their 1/4 on a smaller side. Like all their previous Laura that I've owned were all smaller as well. But luckily the statue is massive due to the very cool pose. It looks like she's jump kicking. I mean, you can figure as she's jump kicking or she's jumping off of it and shooting it. And her paint app could definitely be better, like on her face. It's not Prime 1 detail in terms of like that, the paint app, but everything else does look good. Like the actual sculpt's amazing. The Velociraptors are painted perfectly. The base is sick looking. It's like 33 inches tall, so it's one of my tallest video game statues. But definitely absolutely love this. Although if Prime 1 ever makes a Laura, we'll definitely part ways with this and get the Prime 1 Laura. So yeah, number 7, Weta Lara Croft. Number 6 is going to be Leon Kennedy. So I do prefer the zombie on Claire's base versus Leon, but I just like Leon as a character more. So he is shooting this zombie literally in the eye. Very cool looking, lunging at him in a police uniform. He's wearing his, RPD, raccoon, police department. Very cool. Shotgun on the back. The base is amazing. For me, he's like the main character. Even though you play Claire nearly just as much, Leon for me has always been like the main Resident Evil guy since Resident Evil 4 was my first Resident Evil game I truly loved. And so for me, it's got to be Leon. So Leon, number 6. Alrighty, now we're down to the top 5 video game statues. So top 5 is both design, detail, presence, swap outs, and just the fact how much I love the video game. Because I think that really contributes a lot. How much you like the character, the video game really makes a big difference. So for me, number 5 is going to be Nemesis. So he is the biggest of my video game statues. He is the size of a 1/3 scale character in 1/4. He has over a foot long, gigantic rocket launcher, and like his face detail is absolutely outstanding. Like the vein work, the paint app, the virus infection is just really cool looking. And he does also have a plethora of swap outs, decent base, it has this portable generator, which these were throughout the whole game. And then there's just like electrical wiring and damage throughout the base. Doesn't have like a cool zombie along with him, but the presence is just unmatched with this piece. It has the most presence of all my video game statues. We're not including 1/3, of course. But for 1/4, this has the most presence. So number 5, Nemesis. Number 4 is actually going to be Aloy. For me, she has a far better base than Nemesis. Like her base is magnificent. There's an entire creature on the base. I love the snow effect, the crystals. Aloy's in an action pose, jumping back, shooting her arrow at the, enemy. And I think her face is just absolutely gorgeous. Her hair is incredible. Her armor is my favorite armor in the game. And I'm a huge fan of Horizon Zero Dawn, so that statue just has so much going on. Like the intricacies on her outfit for me is much more than like Nemesis. He has that presence and the really cool rocket launcher. The face is really cool. But her face, not only is it super detailed, but her hair is incredible. The armor, her pose. It's definitely, one of my top favorites. So number 4, Aloy. Number 3 is going to be Jin Sakai. So Ghost of Tsushima to me is one of the best video games ever created. Jin Sakai is awesome. And this base is incredible with the whole leaf effect. And there's so much, like Japanese theme going on. You have like a whole garden in the back. Birds. There's so many Easter eggs on this. The foxes. His face is one of the best faces on any 1/4. And he does have swap outs. But for me, this is a perfect statue. It is beyond amazing in so many ways. I really love this statue. So that is my 3rd favorite. Number 2 has got to be Nathan Drake. I just got him, but, analyzing him. So he has the dynamic pose, and I'm always a fan of dynamic poses, and probably the coolest base of all my, video game statues. The fact that you have an entire pirate cage here, all the different ruins and things going on this base is just incredibly cool. And Nathan, again, just like a perfect sculpt and paint on his face, and the pose is great. Plenty of swap outs. Absolutely incredible. So definitely, one of the best video game statues out there. Before we get to number one, what you probably know it is, I do think that the Prime 1 Last of Us will become the best video game statue. Bar none, that will be the best. Mark my words. As long as production's good, which I'm very confident it will be with how expensive it is, and how much hype it is on it, I think it's going to turn out, just as good as like Jin Sakai. It's going to be perfect. That will be the best one. Best one. Third, of course, is Goro. Some honorable mentions that just didn't quite make the cut would be Claire, this Kratos, Bloodborne, Link 1/4 Custom, and I mean, these are also really magnificent, but yeah. But yeah, my favorite one still is Kratos. Kratos is my favorite video game character. God of War, the original and Ragnarok are my two favorite video games of all time. So when you combine my favorite video game character with my favorite video game with an absolutely magnificent statue with a ton of swap outs, like 3 portraits, you have the axe and shield, or you can do the Blades of Chaos. His armor is super sick looking. Additionally, you have Atreus. So you get 2 full 1/4 scale characters, and this thing is just, for me, the best. The base is magnificent with the underbase and all the logos. So this is easily my favorite statue. Bar none, Kratos is the best. They also made a golden armor version, which I think is cool, but I much prefer this armor look, more classic looking. I did get this armor in the video game, very hard to get it, but I got it, and it's awesome. Now, if we're talking the top 5 dioramas that I own, so Kratos is definitely my favorite. Kratos vs. Baldur, that's number 1. Number 2, Resident Evil 3. Number 4 is probably going to be maybe Resident Evil 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, and I guess technically, Witcher, they're not really a diorama, but it's a line per se. But, these are all like truly meant to be there. That's just like a line. But truly meant to be like as a diorama is really just, I only have 4. But definitely Kratos is the best. Anyways, folks, that is it for me on video game statues. I only technically have The Last of Us 1/4 on pre-order, my Kratos bust, and that's, let me think, that's kind of it. There are a few additional video game statues I want. I'd love to get an Elden Ring 1/4 that Prime 1's making. I hope they make a Lara Croft someday. I'm getting my Link statue and Ganondorf, the 2 customs. But there's not a ton more coming in. Additionally, it's not like they're going to make some of the video games I want. I wouldn't mind a Tifa Lockhart just because I love her, and I love Final Fantasy VII. I also love, like, if we're talking old school games that I grew up loving, Suikoden 1 and 2. Those are some of my favorite games growing up for, like, RPGs. I've played those probably 10 times each. No joke. Play them a lot. Anyways, folks, I'll see you guys in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your favorite video game statue. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.